Parents have a really important role. So quite often, the meaning that a person makes in an event is based on their parents' reaction and the stories told within the family.
Oh really? Well, they watch their parents' reaction and then they think, this is how I'm meant to respond.
Yeah. So if you're having an operation, I mean, say when you had your skiing accident, if there was someone with you and they looked at your broken pelvis and they showed a particular expression, that's going to change your impression of that event. When I was 14 years old, I was beaten up by 8 skinheads. Now, when I got home, my dad answered the door, and I think that's one of the things that made it non-traumatic, because he opened the door, he closed the door behind him so my mum couldn't see the mess I was in, and he said something that validated I'd had a horrible experience, but wasn't melodramatic. He said, "You look like you've had quite a night, shall we go to hospital?" Now, if my mum had answered the door, she might have burst into tears, grabbed me and gave me a big cuddle, and suddenly I would have thought, hang on, maybe this is worse than I thought it was. I've worked with a number of children who, following car crashes, have been told either in the ambulance or hospital, "Oh, you're lucky, you could have died." And for some of them, they go, "Oh yeah, you're right, actually it's not that bad, I could have died." But others, they go, "I could have died." So that one thing that's been said to help them has actually become the trauma, because suddenly it's changed the meaning that they gave to that event. So the people around us are really key in helping us to interpret those things. Families play a big role. So if I can help a family to discuss the event in a helpful but truthful way, that's going to be a good use of my time.
So what would your advice be to a parent who has a child who goes through something traumatic?
So the first thing is to help them feel safe. I mean, this is really advice to schools as well.
Be really calm maybe as well, like your dad opening the door?
Yeah, but you need to also validate what's happened. You can't be dismissive. So, "Oh, it's not that bad, don't be daft, go to bed."
God, yeah.
You know, that doesn't help, because I think, well, actually, you're not letting me express how scary that event was. So this advice would be true for head teachers and teachers at school as well as parents. First of all, help them to feel safe. So not expose them to ongoing threat. Perhaps monitor what they're watching on TV. So thinking about 9/11 or the bombs in London or Manchester Arena bombing or Grenfell, you know, we just have more and more exposure to those worst moments of the event. And is that going to help them feel safe? Probably not. So first is help them to feel safe, help them to calm down. What is it they need to help them calm down? Do they need a bath? Do they go and play football? Do they need to learn some relaxation? Something that helps them to reset their physiological stress response system. Help them to feel supported and connected. Now that might be with the parents, so spending more time with parents, it might be with their friends. Help them to feel they're not alone. Help them to feel they have some control over what's going on. So you don't need a stranger to suddenly arrive and try and do something to the child. You want the child to feel they have some control over what happens next. And try and help them to think about the future and have a sort of hopeful perspective. And then allow them to talk about it as and when they're ready. And don't rush in with correcting their sense of how scary it was. Just don't rush in and say, "Oh yeah, but you didn't die, did you? You're fine." Allow them to say, "You know, it's really frightening." And then saying, "And what happened next? And what happened next?" And allow them to realise that, for example, that was a one-off event. It doesn't mean the whole world's frightening. So you sort of help them to tell the story rather than give them the story. I mean, with younger children, actually, parents will donate the narrative. They will be talking about what happened, and the children will pick up on what the parents say.